Right, OK, let's get straight to a huge night in the Premier League title race. Arsenal travel to Brentford looking to regain their 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League. Let's cross to the GTEC Community Stadium live right now and rejoin Uma Gurav. Even to you again, Uma, how much pressure do you think Arsenal will be feeling?
Good evening. Oh, the pressure is big. It feels like the calm before the storm here. There's an atmosphere building. They're getting ready for the team bus arrival here and the fans are starting to stream in. But you can just sense that this evening could be season-defining for Arsenal. The opportunity is big, of course. They have the chance to put a 6-point cushion between themselves and Manchester City, who, of course, beat Fulham last night. But if they don't manage that, well, the title race is well and truly open. And it's a tough ask because the form that Brentford are in, I mean, they've just beaten Newcastle and Villa. Not many teams can say that they've done that. It is going to be tough. Keith Andrews isn't talking about Europe. He says that that's just the place he'll be heading on holiday this summer. But ultimately, Brentford are in that European battle. And it's a big night for them as well as Arsenal. They're not going to make it easy at all. We'll see what happens here tonight. But for Mikel Arteta, I'm sure he'll be feeling like there's a massive task ahead of him.
All right, let's talk about the title race, shall we? So Manchester City beating Fulham comfortably last night, Dean. How much extra pressure, if you add that to the win at Anfield, have City put on Arsenal now?
Yeah, I mean, they have done. And I think because it's Manchester City, it can't be ignored. And I think probably that, coupled with the fact that Arsenal have had to wait for 2 nights' worth of Premier League football, watching it, taking that in, seeing City win again, that does just add the pressure that you've now got to go and do it. But they've done that all season.
Mikel posted a picture across the socials and his operation. How did it go? And is there any timeline at all about when we could see him? Could we see him before the end of the season?
Well, I think the doctors were really happy the way it went. Now it starts obviously a long process. You're talking about bone healing, so you need to be patient. You respect the timings. I'm sure Mikel is going to do everything that he possibly can to speed up that recovery. And the time frames, we're talking about months, whether it's 3 or 4 or 5. We don't know.
And I think they'll be very confident, having won the last 2, going into this game. And I think Mikel Arteta generally has done very well in how he's spoken and how he's taken those players into every game that we try and build up the pressure for them. They've been able to respond.
Striker's opinion on Victor Gyökeres? I mean, you will have been through those spells in your career, sort of a little bit of a difficult spell, barren spell, then suddenly you get that first goal back, the goals start to flow. Do you feel he's turned a corner, Dean?
I'm not necessarily that he's turned a corner, because I don't feel as if he stopped doing the things that have made him a terrific player, which is that incredible attitude, willingness to be unselfish in the way he plays and the way he runs for the team.
That's not why they signed him, though, was it?
It's so unlike how they've played before, in terms of that player that really wants to run in behind. And the manager's taking him out and putting him back in, which is the right thing to do when you've got healthy competition. Do I think that it will not work for him at Arsenal? No, I think it will. I just think it's really a matter of, again, the team understanding him. And I think how would I feel if I was him? Well, it is difficult because of the way the wide players play. How many runs do you have to make before the ball actually comes in? And I think that still needs to be worked on, in terms of him knowing when it's likely to come in, them knowing when is the right time to play it in for him. I still don't really see that connection yet.
Do they trust? Does his teammates trust him? Paul Merson suggests that they don't yet trust Victor Gyökeres. Would you agree with that?
I'm not really sure they genuinely think like that. I don't think, unless in training he's awful, which he won't be, then why would a player not trust to put a ball in? It's more about the connection.
it? You know, it's not something that just happens over a couple of training sessions.
No, not for everybody, and not for every set of players. So again, I think everybody's being incredibly harsh because ultimately they've bought him and they're expecting Haaland standards. Well, that's some ceiling that you've got to try and hit, but ultimately there's still a lot of improvement he's got to make, and ruthlessness that he needs to bring to Arsenal team.
Dean, how did you assess the scenes at Anfield when City won there, the nature of the turnaround in that game to win there? Did it feel like a significant result, or did it feel like they were celebrating a bit like Arsenal celebrated when they beat Bournemouth deep into added time, and, you know, it felt like it was a significant result, but ultimately they ran out of steam?
You know, we can question that as we get towards the end of the season. Will Arsenal continue to win games when they need to? And tonight's a prime example of that. You win again tonight and you ease that for another week or so. But that's something that will be asked of them every single time they play, especially if City keep winning.
What about Aston Villa? Currently 6 points off Arsenal and 3 off City. They're on this graphic here. So we say they're in the title race. Are they?
They are, in terms of points that they've gained, but it all feels like quite hard work still. And you just think, again, as the season winds into that period where there can't be the mistakes and there can't be the poor performances, and the pressure does start to mount on Unai Emery's side, they're doing brilliantly. He's doing fantastically to have them in this position. I don't think they will genuinely be thinking about the title.
There's one game which may affect maybe a little bit of a factor in terms of the destination of the Premier League title, but it's not a league game. It's the Carabao Cup final. I wonder, you know, the outcome of that, how significant do you think that could be?
I think it could be, yeah. I think it could be mentally for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta.
Either way. So in terms of win it, they have real belief, lose it, and they suffer psychologically, would you say?
Yeah, because they are human, so they will feel that disappointment. I still think they will go on and win the Premier League title. I just think over the course of the season, they will be the best team. They'll concede the fewest goals. And I think he's been really methodical in the points that he's gained and the way he's managed games when we're all looking, going, well, you've got to go for the win, and they've taken the draw. I think this is going to be their season. And tonight we can all look and think, well, Brentford, what a difficult game it is. Well, they haven't lost in 9 games against Brentford.
Used to this scenario, you've been in this position way more, both in finals and in terms of title races.
Yes, because everybody's questioning, have Arsenal, the players and the manager, got the mentality to get over the line and win something. That's what's being questioned of them. So if you do it in the first competition of the season against a rival that you're up against in the Premier League and other competitions, what a boost that is. All of a sudden, some of the doubters go away because you've done it in that first competition, and you feel it. You will feel it as a player if Arsenal were to win.
I'm playing a lot in the kind of hypothetical realm here, but I think obviously Arsenal fans are desperate to win the Premier League after such a long time having not won it. Would they take that over any combination of any of the other competitions they're involved in, multiple titles other than the Premier League? Champions League and Carabao Cup versus Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, the Champions League, of course, it would be huge for Arsenal.
Which they've never won.
For the first time.
Yeah.
But, of course, the Premier League would be... I think one of those two is what they would expect. In the positions that they're in, how great they've been already this season, you've got to go and try and win those, at least one of those two. And I expect them to. I expect them to win one of those competitions.
Arsenal are officially feeling the heat as the season reaches a make-or-break phase. With rivals tightening the gap and every point suddenly carrying massive weight, the margin for error has all but disappeared. Performances that once felt good enough are now being dissected, and the pressure is no longer just external, it's creeping into the squad's body language, decision-making, and urgency on the pitch. This is the kind of moment that defines campaigns and exposes whether a team is truly ready to go the distance. The big question now is how Arsenal respond when the spotlight burns brightest. Do they rise with the pressure, sharpen their edge, and turn tension into momentum? Or does the noise around them start to seep into performances when it matters most? With key fixtures looming and expectations sky high, the the next few games won't just shape their position in the table, they'll shape the story of Arsenal's season.